All right, all right. Hey, happy Thursday, everyone. Hey, I see a couple of people with me live today. And by the way, this is Russ McCann going live each and every week, every Tuesday at noon. Hey, I had a conflict in my schedule. So guess what? Today's Thursday. We're a couple of days late, but I'm certainly glad you're here. Do me a favor. This is interactive. And I would love it if you could just drop in the chat or drop in the comment section, whether you're over on YouTube or over on Facebook, and just let me know that you're here. That way I can interact with you. This is an interactive live. Obviously, I'm going to share and hopefully bring you value today. That's the goal of my weekly focus. I've been doing this for the last 5 weeks. Today is episode number 6 in your weekly focus. And I decided to do this about 5 weeks ago because I had so many of my clients and so many people that I was talking to just in general that had kind of lost their way, had lost their focus, and just kind of going through the motions. And it's that going through the motions that at the end of the day, we go, wow, what did we get accomplished? Or at the end of the week, wow, I didn't get very much accomplished. And you know what? I wish things would have gone better this week. And so I decided that I would go live each and every week to kind of talk a little bit about that. Hey, Grace. So Grace is with me live. As you can see, I brought her comment up live. She's over on YouTube. Do me a favor. If you're with me live, make sure that you comment so that I can interact with you and see who's with me today. So again, just let me know. And if you have any questions or any comments during my live today, will you feel free to ask those questions, and I'll try to get to as many of them as I can. So let's kind of get into motion a little bit. So I decided that today's focus, so over the last 4 or 5 weeks, we talked a lot about goal setting, focusing on those things that matter most to you. Kind of one of my mantras is organize your life around the things that matter most to you. Back 16 years ago, when I was in my corporate life as a vice president for a Fortune 100 company, I was organizing my life around what mattered most to my boss and the company and the shareholders. And I wasn't spending very much time with my family, to be totally honest. I wasn't spending any time with myself. I was giving everything I had to my career. Nothing wrong with that. If you love what you do and that's your passion and that's where you want to pour your energy, okay. But I'm going to challenge you, and that's what we've been doing over the last 4 or 5 weeks, is challenging you on what really matters most to you. And I know for a lot of us, it tends to be family, it tends to be friends, it tends to be, maybe some social activities. I love people who are very social because I think they have a chance to interact with what's going on in the world in a different way. And with COVID, many people decided that they were going to hunker down, they were going to back away from society, and they were just going to worry about themselves. And you know what? I totally get that. I think we did that too for a couple of weeks. And then I was like, nope, that's not me. I've got to interact. I've got to have humans and you know what? And so my challenge for you today, so we're going to talk about It's All About You, because we've been talking a lot about career and goal setting and focusing on health and, all of those kind of things. But today I wanted to talk a little bit about, hey, you just taking time for you. I don't know about you, but there are so many times I get through the day and I'm just exhausted. I'm just tired. And I go, wow, you know what? I didn't take time for me. And so I'm going to give you a couple of ideas and some things to think about that you might be able to incorporate in your daily life as we start working on our weekly focus. So our weekly focus this week is going to be all about us. So again, before I get totally into this, I want to make sure that you interact. Feel free to drop in some comments both on Facebook and over in YouTube. I can see them live as they come across. Gives me a chance to interact with you. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop that in. While you're over on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the little bell, which means that you want to get a reminder each time I go live. Normally, this is every Tuesday at noon. But because of my conflict and schedule, I moved it to Thursday this week, and I'm super glad that you're here. All right, so let's get into this. It's all about you. And, as I'm working with clients, one of the number one things that I hear often from my clients when they're wanting to focus on health is they sleep really, really poorly. And sometimes it's just they're a night owl and then they're up all night and then something wakes them up and then they never really get a good night's sleep. And when I think about all the things that you can do, not just from a health standpoint, but just in life, your body, your brain, your life needs to take a break. It needs some rest. So I would just encourage you. There's a lots of research out there that talks about these devices that we have, our phones and our TVs and our computers, and we tend to maybe even at night have our laptop on our desk, and it's that blue light. There are software fits for you to change that from blue to amber, which will help less stimulate the brain, so it'll help you sleep at night. But you know what? I'd like to advocate that by 10 o'clock, all of that stuff is off. All of that is turned off. You have gotten the temperature of your bedroom the way you need to have it sleep. Maybe somewhere around 65 to 67 degrees, somewhere in there, and have a nice blanket that you can pull up if you get a little cold. But if you are too hot at night, you're going to wake yourself up. You're not going to get a good night's rest. We've talked about the dogs in the bedroom. Yeah, I get it. Buster sleeps in our bedroom with us too. But when the dogs sleep on the bed and the cats, I've known people that'll have two dogs and a cat and a husband or a wife, and you know what? They don't sleep very well. There's just too much going on in that confined space. So I'm advocating that you begin to work on improving your overall sleep habits. So get a good night's rest. That's tip number one when you want to focus on improving your life. Okay, let's talk about tip number two. Take time to relax every day. So during the course of your day, take a break, take a lunch. So many people in the corporate world, man, they work through breaks, work through lunch, and at the end of the day, they're wiped out, don't have anything left. But by taking a few moments of relaxation each and every day, it gives you time to recuperate for a few minutes. That's why they call it break time. And that's why you break for lunch. Employers have figured out that if you take a break, you're a lot more productive to them. And if you take a little bit of a rest at lunch and you come back, you're more productive. So if you'd like to be more productive in your life, forget about your job, but you just in life in general, take time to relax every day. Find a time. Maybe it's the same time every day. Maybe you move it around based on your schedule. But dedicate 15, 20 minutes, maybe even a half an hour to simply relax. And I've got some ideas around that. I don't know about you, drop in the chat, but I love listening to music. Music feeds my soul. So Denise is a TV watcher, and I'm a music listener. And when Denise is gone, I'll turn the music on. When I'm gone, Denise turns the television on. Okay, so we want some noise because it gets really, really quiet when we're not here, unless Buster's barking. But the fact is, music can be very soothing. Maybe if you're listening to a heavy metal or, gangster rap or something like that, that's not very relaxing. Maybe you can relax to that. I know I can't. I love kind of the softer music, easy listening, kind of thinking about Jimmy Buffett and Margaritaville and sitting on the beach. And music gives me a chance to escape. I don't know about you, but does music bring you back to a specific place and time? There's a couple of songs that bring me right back to 1976. Just graduated from high school, had a new car, had a new job, trying to figure out if I was going to go to college at that time or not. My girlfriend, and you know what? Seals and Crofts, Hummingbird, is a song that takes me right back to that 1976 brand new Camaro. So I love music because it takes you to a different place. Whenever I hear tropical music with steel drums, it brings me back to Aruba, the very day that Denise and I got married. We got married on the beach of Aruba to the sounds of steel drums. We had about 20 or 30 people there, and then we had about 300 people that were part of our company. So, we got married on the beach in Aruba at a company incentive trip, but we really had a great time. And so steel drums bring me back to my wedding day and all that was going on at that time. What an amazing day. So music can be very, very helpful at helping you relax. Maybe you develop a playlist on your phone that's about 20 minutes, 30 minutes long of some of your most relaxing favorite songs that take you away from where you're at today and maybe take you back to a place in your past. All right. How about going for a walk? Always, trying to incorporate a little bit of health in there, but sometimes it's nice just to get away. And maybe you listen to your music while you're on the walk. Walk the neighborhood, go to a park, go to a river. Just maybe, take a drive about 20 or 30 minutes from where you're at, somewhere different, and just go for a walk. Walk around the mall. I don't really like that. That's not very relaxing for me, but some people find that relaxing and therapeutic. But I think it's just fun to go for a walk, go for a hike, get some fresh air. I love looking at the landscaping of my neighbors, and I scold them mentally when they're letting their plants die, and then I applaud them when their plants are doing really, really well, or I get ideas on what plants and flowers go really well in my neighborhood that the deers haven't eaten. So go for a walk. Another great way to relax. Remember, we're working on relaxation today. We're working on you taking time for you. Here's one. How about a picnic lunch? Drop in the chat. When was the last time you went on a picnic lunch? I know when Denise and I were dating on Match.com, I drove over an hour and 20 minutes to pick her up from work, take her to a nice picnic lunch. We'd have lunch together, and then I'd take her back to work, and then I'd come home. I was about an hour and a half away. And that was such an amazing time. I just the pure experience of spreading out the blanket, opening up the picnic basket, grabbing a couple of sandwiches or a couple of salads, some water, just sitting there and hearing the kids play, hearing the dogs bark, just watching other people and spending time both by yourself and maybe with your significant other. So this can be a really great tip at really taking time to yourself. So I love the picnic idea. Also, go to the nursery. Now, I'm not talking about the children's nursery, like, go down to the hall and watch your baby sleep. I'm talking about go to the garden nursery. I know we live here in Northern California. We have a place called Green Acres, and but I love going to the nursery. It's such a peaceful place. Even if I don't buy anything or I don't find anything, I just love kind of walking along the trees and flowers. I think maybe that's kind of why I said, go for a walk, go for a hike, is that there's just something about the plants. Maybe it's the oxygen that they that emit so that I can breathe better. But I just love going to the nursery and relaxing and thinking about, why or where would this plant go? And wow, this would look really nice in the house. Inevitably, I usually try to find something to buy. But you know what? I've spent several hours at the nursery before and didn't buy anything, but I find it really relaxing. So anyway, go to the nursery. Here's another tip. Take a drive, go to the beach or mountains. When we think about, where do people, where are their dream homes? Where would they like their dream home to be? Inevitably, there's two places. One is in the beach and one is at the mountains. And if you live near either of those, I know we live in the foothills of California. We don't live too far from some beaches that are along the river or the lake, Folsom Lake. Or if you live close to the ocean and you can go for a walk, just go to the ocean, go to the beach, get outside, get outdoors. And all right. So here's Grace. She says NASCAR racing on the weekends. That's relaxing. Okay. Well, for some, I guess, reading, word and number games on the tablet. Yeah, I love that. My mom used to do that a lot. That's never been my way to relax. But again, I love it because it just adds another thing that people can do. So reading a book, word and number games. I know I went through a Sudoku phase for a while. NASCAR racing on the weekends, Grace. My mom and dad were into NASCAR in a big way. They owned an ambulance company over in Stockton. Every Saturday night at Stockton 99 Speedway, I, as a child, was forced to go to the NASCAR races with my parents because they didn't have a babysitter. And so definitely NASCAR was a big deal. I was always kind of running around with the other kids of the drivers and the pit crew and the tow truck driver. I mean, I was hanging out with their kids. We saw the same kids over and over again. And my mom on Saturday would always love just watching, the various races, Daytona, Fontana. They would go to travel and watch NASCAR and races on the weekend. So, yeah, I haven't done that so much as an adult, Grace, but as a child, I did that a lot. So, yeah, thanks for those great tips and additions. So, start a hobby. So again, today our topic is relaxation, taking time to yourself, getting away from the pressures of the world and all the anxiety that can happen. and start a hobby. Maybe that's Grace learning how to drive that car rather than just watch it, right? Or I know a lot of people love to quilt and crochet and do crafts. I know people that are actually doing crafts for a living or have turned it into a career, and they're selling their crafts on Etsy, right? I see lots of great things. I bought a cutting board the other day. Many of you know that I'm into barbecuing and Traeger and smoking meats, and I wanted a nice big cutting board. So I went on Etsy and I bought a cutting board from a gentleman, and it's a nice big cutting board, and he had a little laser way to laser my logo, Rusty's Barbecue, etched it into the wood. And so he's turned his hobby into an income source. Nothing wrong with combining hobby and income. I think that's great. If you love what you do and it gives you the ability to maybe work from home, maybe find a hobby and turn that into a thriving enterprise. Nothing wrong with that, right? It's the American way. Or, watch a movie. This is Denise's way to relax. And so sometimes when she's wanting to relax at the end of the day, she'll say, "Hey, will you watch a movie with me? Or I picked out a movie for us to watch." And that's Denise's very sweet way of saying, "Hey, I want to spend more time with you." Now, granted, we're sitting next to each other watching a movie, but guess what? We're in the same space doing the same thing at the same time. So again, this can be very relaxing. Binging on Netflix and wasting a lot of time watching television or any of these things. You can get obsessed with any of these things. I'm just advocating that you take 15 minutes to maybe a half an hour. If you're watching a movie, it might be an hour and a half or so. But find some things that you can do to give you the opportunity to just chill and relax, right? So if you're with me live, hey, Grace, thanks for being with me and interacting with me. I think that's one of the neat reasons I went live. First, to practice using this technology. It's a program and a system called eCam. And I love it. I've gotten to know it really, really well. And I went live every day for 30 days back in November of last year. And that got me really going. And I love it because it gives me the ability to interact. See, so not only was I bringing in Grace's comments throughout our broadcast today, but I am able to bring in multiples at the same time. So again, just would encourage you, if you come to my live, come next Tuesday at noon. I'll be back on schedule. And we can interact and talk a little bit about, life and how to focus on the things that really matter most to you. And you and I can have an amazing time. If you're watching this in recording, like you're in my YouTube channel and you're watching this in replay, feel free to drop any comments or questions. I will for sure absolutely respond and read every comment or question and make sure that I get back to you. As many of you know, I'm a certified health coach. I left my corporate life about 14 years ago. And I love helping people focus on health and develop healthy habits, develop a new daily routine that turns into a healthy lifestyle. It's all about creating daily habits. Those habits create a healthy life. And I think that happens in every aspect of life, really, whether it's you're trying to improve your career or relationships or your overall health and well-being. It's all about creating new habits that replace the bad habits that have caused us to sacrifice the life that we were put on this earth to live. So organize your life around the things that matter most to you. And I advocate that one of the things that should matter most to you is you. So don't forget to spend time doing the things that you enjoy, doing the things that find you relaxation and that bring you joy. And with that, you guys go out and have an amazing week. We have a weekend coming up right around the corner. Go do something fun. It's still a little fall. It might be getting a little chilly in the evening, but wow, I love this time of the year. I just love the crispness of the air, and you can see kind of the animals and leaves and trees and plants all kind of getting ready for winter, which is a few short weeks ahead. So you guys go out and have an amazing day, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Let us know by subscribing and commenting how much you found value in what it is we're doing. But guess what? This is our weekly focus. We'll do it every Tuesday at 12 noon. You guys go out and make it a great week. Bye, everyone.